We have some more developments coming in from the state of Maharashtra. At this point, what you're looking at are the visuals of Teesta Setalvad. We're now being told that the activist Teesta Setalvad was brought into the Santacruz police station. The Gujarat anti-terror squad officials were there, but now Teesta Setalvad has been taken into arrest by the Gujarat ATS team. She will be brought to Ahmedabad crime branch. So definitely it appears that a time of trouble for Teesta Setalvad. This is, remember, hours after the court also continuing to give a clean chit with regard to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah had also said that there were deliberate conspiracy theories and misinformation campaign that was targeted at the Prime Minister. But now, activist Teesta Setalvad has been taken into arrest by the Gujarat ATS team, the anti-terror squad. That's the details that's coming in. Remember, this is big news at this point because this is the Gujarat police, the Gujarat ATS, that has taken into arrest Teesta Setalvad. She's currently in Mumbai. She was brought to the Santacruz police station, and from there she's likely to be taken to the Ahmedabad crime branch. We'll be shortly getting our reporters on the ground as well. But this is the latest that I can tell you has come as a confirmation. Just about half an hour ago, she was brought to the Santacruz police station. Now, this is about siphoning of funds. This is about misinformation campaign that Teesta Setalvad ran, and this specifically is about the 2002 riots that had taken place in the state of Gujarat. The Gujarat police, we are being told, has registered a case against 3 accused, not only just Teesta Setalvad, but former IPS officer Sanjeev Bhatt, former IPS officer R.B. Srikumar, and Teesta Setalvad, who's now been taken into arrest. So this was about giving false information, wrong information, and consistently focusing on that, and also pushing the target with regard to now Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was then the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat. Remember that there were several petitions that were put by Zakia Jafri in the court, and it is being alleged that there was also some false information that was provoked by Teesta Setalvad and was pushed by her to have Zakia Jafri petition in the court with that false and fake information to the Special Investigation Team head and to other commissions. Now, the investigation has found out that through these petitions, the information that was added, was it at the behest of the activist Teesta Setalvad, who's now been taken into arrest? As of now, the details that we have on our screens is that eventually, as you can see, these are the latest visuals, the arrest has come. But what happens next? Because we can already see that at this point, this is, just to give you a background, Teesta Setalvad has been a known activist, specifically with regard to the 2002 Gujarat riots campaigns, and consistently had been putting out information. On target was the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi, but now with the court also now continuing to give a clean chit, and Home Minister Amit Shah also speaking today saying there was a deliberate conspiracy campaign targeted at him. I saw him suffer quietly for 20 years, but now this with regard to the petition of Zakia Jafri, the allegations are, was it by Teesta Setalvad and at her behest that there was false information that was being pushed through? Former IPS officer Sanjeev Bhatt has been named in the FIR. Former IPS officer R.B. Srikumar has also been named in this. So we are staying with these story right now, the big news that is coming in, because at this point, remember, Teesta Setalvad had gained a lot of prominence with her campaigns with regard to the 2002 riots case, but now, as it appears, that could there have been false and incorrect information that had been pushed out. But this is specifically about her NGO. Teesta Setalvad runs an NGO, Citizens for Peace, and that also has faced siphoning of funds and incorrect information that she had been spreading. So there are 2 different cases here that has been referenced to. Initially, she was detained by the Gujarat anti-terror squad officers who had reached her residence, had taken her to the Santacruz police station, which is as per protocol. And then after that, she's now been taken into arrest and likely will be now moved to Gujarat. The investigation found out that there was false information that was given through a petition, and that is now emerging with the action that is being taken against her. This is the FIR copy there on your screens right now, and There are the details of not only 3 accused who have been mentioned, repeating again here for our viewers: Teesta Setalvad, former IPS officer R.B. Srikumar, and also former IPS officer Sanjeev Bhatt. So as we closely look at this FIR copy, we can see that the 3 names that have been mentioned here. All of this, of course, remember, is in some way also interconnected. This is after Zakia Jafri, whose husband Ehsan Jafri was killed in the 2002 Gujarat Riots case. The petitions that she had been putting in the court, and the court yesterday, I beg your pardon, had continued to give the clean chit to then Chief Minister Narendra Modi. The question that was being raised, and now the investigation, according to the officers of the ATS, that the petitions had mentions and inputs by Teesta Setalvad, and most of it appeared to be incorrect, is what the investigation had found. Dev Kotak is right now on location. Dev, over to you now, because you were showing us how earlier she was taken to the Santacruz police station, then she was detained, now she's arrested. Do you have the FIR copy with you? Do you have more details, Dev? Over to you, please.
Yes, if I can just point it out, firstly to begin with, this is a letter from D.B. Barad, who is the police inspector, Crime Branch, Ahmedabad. It's written here in Gujarati. Also, if I can point out the sections to you very quickly, the IPC sections are 457, 471, 194, 211, 218 and 120B, criminal conspiracy. These are all the sections under the Indian Penal Code. It also says that starting from 2002 until present date, until today, these are the kind of details that have also been mentioned in this copy, in this letter that was shared with the members of the press and the media by Teesta Setalvad's lawyer while being dragged away and forcefully taken away in a jeep. Teesta Setalvad also said this arrest is illegal. The way they have detained me is really not fair. She claimed that she was also assaulted inside her bungalow when a team of officials from the Ahmedabad crime branch entered her house. There were two teams. Of policemen from Gujarat, while one team was here at this Santacruz police station completing the paperwork and the documentation so as to ensure that her detention or arrest becomes a lot easier, and another team was in the meanwhile trying to pick her up from her bungalow at Nirant, which is also the premises and the shared office space of her NGO CJP, Citizens for Justice and Peace. She is on her way right now. It has been almost close to 30 minutes that she was taken away from the police station to Ahmedabad via road. A jeep, a jeep bearing the Gujarat registration number is also on its way out, and about half a dozen to 7 police officials from the crime branch were present at the time when they took her away. So these are the kind of details we have for now. But also one very interesting thing is the fact that, let me point out to this letter which Teesta Setalvad wrote to Senior PI Bala Sahib of the Santacruz police station. It says that I fear for my life. These are the kind of, they did not show me any FIR or tell me why they had 8 to 10 people who had barged into my compound. I have a big bruise on my left hand which I showed to my lawyer, Mr. Kulkarni. This happened around 3:45 p.m. approximately. This is the kind of chronology. Around 1 p.m. on my office land, I got a call from CISF Noida who came and asked my colleague who had been picked up and asked who was in charge of my security and how many people asked, calling for her and asking her to be present. So, of course, there was no asking, there was no requesting her to be present, but straight away they had barged into her home and they had picked her up without really giving her any kind of reasonable explanation. And she was brought here, like I mentioned earlier, at the Santacruz police station. And also, she is being transported from Maharashtra to Gujarat because the team of Ahmedabad crime branch was here to personally and physically take custody of the activist who has been in question, especially since Mr. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, gave an interview to a news channel, rubbishing all her claims as baseless. So these are the kind of details that we have for now.
Keep tracking all the latest, because as I'm reading through this specific FIR that you also have a copy and access to, very clearly here the crime branch is saying that It clearly shows that Sanjeev Bhatt, RB Srikumar, Teesta Setalvad had conspired to abuse the process of law by fabricating false evidence to make several persons to be convicted for an offence that is punishable, and also adding that constantly by Zakia Jafri's petitions that were filed, whether it was the SLP or the petition in 2006, which was also with regard to the Citizens of Justice and Peace, which is an NGO headed by Teesta Setalvad, that Teesta Setalvad, according to the crime branch, was constantly tutoring Zakia Jafri to say what and how. So in this 10-page FIR copy, as I'm going through and scrolling right now, we'll try and get you the highlights and key takeaways soon from it. It claims to state very clearly here, establishing that Sanjeev Bhatt was lying that he attended a meeting on 27th February. But he wasn't there. RB Srikumar also stated incorrect information, and Teesta Setalvad tutored some of those survivors. Listen in to what the lawyers are saying.
Teesta Setalvad, human rights activist, and who has been helping the victims of Gujarat riots and across the country in many other cases, has been arrested today. She has been taken by Gujarat ATS right now. And the sections which they are applying is 468 and 471. We don't know the full details of the case as yet. We were not informed. They barged into, they assaulted her and they have taken her. Forgery का केस है, तो हमको अभी डिटेल नहीं मालूम है कि क्या forgery का केस है. 468 और 471 बोला गया है.